Okay, here we are. Alt.nerd.obsessive.
Hey everybody, welcome to Worst Episode Ever, a podcast for people who love The Simpsons, by people who love The Simpsons, about how much we hate The Simpsons. We're here trying to find which is the worst episode ever. And as always, my name is Dan.
My name is Jack O'Donnelly.
Jack O'Donnelly.
Picone.
That's so good. They call me
Nick Picone. I can't think of any other Irish. Donnelly, Picone, O.
That's it.
That's it.
Mulhall is Irish. That's my actual last name.
Mullally.
There you go, Mullally. Jack Mullally.
There we go.
There you are. Sinead O'Doubtfire bringing us into this episode.
Yeah,
so that's
haven't seen her in a while.
Very nice. No, we have not. Hey, everybody. We are here. It is St. Patrick's Day if you're listening to this live. It's also my wife's birthday.
No. If you're listening as the day it came out. If you're listening to it live, it's March.
I meant live in the
11th,
sense, in the podcast
10th?
sense, but you can also be listening to this live because we are periscoping this episode.
Yeah.
It's Friday, whatever, March 11th.
Friday night,
We're
March
actually recording it.
10 to 8.
So if you're not confused about what day today is, you are now.
And if you missed it, you can't watch it by now. It only stays up for 24 hours.
Right.
And it's going to be a little confusing because we are, I don't know what that means. I don't know if that's a typo. We're addressing you guys, the listeners. We're also addressing the chats. We're getting a lot of comments
Periscope
so it's going to be a little back and forth. We're also drinking.
Yep, that's
also
happening
having beer.
because it's St. Patrick's Day.
And that's
Jackie
what you do.
boy.
You drink on St.
Oh,
Patrick's
Jackie
Day.
boy.
We're drinking the most
the
Irish.
The pipes are calling.
The most Irish of beers we're drinking.
Yes.
Sierra Nevada Beer Camp, Tropical IPA.
Yeah, that's the thing.
From the moors of Ireland.
Yeah, right. So that's what we're doing. And also, Jack, we are going to be...
This is the new equatorial. Like, you couldn't be further from the equator than Ireland.
Yeah, right.
I mean, you could be.
You could be. You could be on the North Pole.
Yeah.
Mars.
South Pole.
Mars is pretty
much
far.
further.
The sun,
Beetlejuice.
even further. Yeah, that's
the star.
right.
Not
Don't say it two more times. Don't say it two more times.
Beetlejuice.
Don't say it one more time.
And won't.
All right. And today we are also going to be watching an episode of The Simpsons from season 20 called In the Name of the Grandfather. Originally aired... Hey, it's showtime! Dun, 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 dun.
You know what I mean? I don't know
You said it 3 times.
I don't know if you know what I mean.
That's what happens.
Does he say
That
you know what I mean
sounds
in
like
the
Ernest.
movies?
That doesn't sound like Beetlejuice.
Doesn't he say you know what I mean in the cartoon all the time?
Look at us.
We look like buffoons. By the way, we're
we
watching
look like
ourselves on
ghouls.
Periscope to read the comments, and there's like a good 60-second delay.
Yeah, it's
a little
pretty,
weird.
It's pretty intense.
A little weird.
So Beetlejuice will be joining us again later in this podcast, perhaps. I already said it once. I said it one more time. 2 more times.
Don't say it 2 more times.
2 more times.
All right, what are we watching?
We're watching season 20's In the Name of the Grandfather, and it is an episode from season 20 where they go to Ireland.
Simpsons go to Ireland.
Jack, have you seen this one?
Yeah, I saw it when it aired, the night it aired. Don't think I've seen it since.
Okay.
I feel like I remember it being terrible.
Actually, it aired on March 17th, 2009.
So you know what I was doing on St. Patrick's Day at the age of 25? I was staying at home with my grandma watching The
Simpsons. But that means it aired the day this came out 7 years earlier.
Oh,
so
wow.
look at that.
7 years to the day. There's a Steven Seagal movie where he's in a coma for
Called
7 years.
7 years to the day.
And he wakes up and Jay Leno is doing the Tonight Show. He's like, this world is so weird.
I kind of want to see that movie.
I don't know if it was Seagal now. I think it was.
your future world where there's no kung fu.
There was Kung Fu.
And I really don't understand the future world.
Johnny Carson didn't take Kung Fu with him.
He didn't. I just assumed that Johnny almost called him Johnny Kung Fu.
That was his original stage name, Johnny Kung
he
Fu.
changed it to Johnny Carson. It was less antagonistic.
Hiya! Instead of hi-yo. Hiya.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I got it. We're going to take a break. I think we need to take a break. We're going to take a break,
It's
and
so
we're going to
hot
watch...
in here. We're so sweaty and gross.
We're going to watch season 20's In the Name of the Grandfather, and you can do that too on Simpsons World or wherever you watch your episodes. We're going to take a break and do that. You could also go to weepodcast.com, weepodcast.com, click on our Amazon links, help keep the show free, help keep us doing ridiculous things like periscoping this episode and talking about Beetlejuice. That's too. Also, while you're on weepodcast.com, check out our sync points. We've got 2 new ones, one for Batman 1989 and one for Superman Returns from 2006.
2006. If you don't own those or whatever, Batman is on Netflix.
Batman's on Netflix, so
Superman Returns is on HBO Go. Maybe a little bit more limiting.
HBO Now.
HBO Now.
If you can't wait.
Or you could buy them or rent them on iTunes or whatever.
But those are $2 each, and those, you don't even have to listen to them. Just buy them. That's all we care about.
Or if
they're funny, they're great.
Yeah, and if you don't like Superman Returns, we get it.
Yeah, because we didn't like it either. I hated it. Yeah. I hated it.
If you've sat through the last 5 minutes of this awfulness, then you will be able to sit through the 2 hour movie. We'll make Superman Returns interesting. Yes,
we'll do what we can. We got guests. We got a guest here.
I regret any comments I made about homosexuals during the Superman Returns Sing Points.
Now you have to buy it. You got to hear those hot takes from Jack. So those are up on our website. It's wepodcast.com. Guys, we are going to take that break. We got a guest that we're going to introduce in a moment to you, not in a moment to us. We're going to take a break and watch an episode. But I'll do all that stuff I just said. And also listen to 90s Percentile, which we didn't say. We had a new episode that came out on Monday with a lot of hot takes in it.
Yeah, a lot of hot takes. Again, apologies to the homosexuals.
Yes. Yeah, you're not wrong. All right, guys, so we're going to take a break, and we'll be right back.
Well, last night you said you never wanted to leave this pub, so you bought it from me.
Wait, what?
All these pictures tell no lies. There's you meeting with the loan officer and the title insurance company. Here's me replacing the window sashes that had the termite damage as per the escrow agreement. I have to say, for blind drunks, you had an excellent knowledge of Irish real estate law.
So, that was the name of... Fuck. Ready?
You're not.
I don't want to
In the name of the grandfather.
We're not going to...
So, that was In the Name of the Grandfather.
It sure was, Jack. And before we talk about In the Name of the Grandfather...
we missed some stuff in the intro.
We missed some stuff in the intro. We want to say, first of all, that Liam Tasker is the one who told us to watch this episode.
Liam's an Irish name.
He is an Ireland native.
Oh, is he?
So thank you very much, Liam. We appreciate you telling us to watch this terrible episode of Simpsons. So thank you, Liam, for that. I don't know who just said that. That was somebody else. And... I
don't know what that means. Somebody's commenting us. We're still on Periscope. Somebody's commenting us about IPNs or Jeff, you know computers.
So we wanted to say the thing about the Liam Tasker. He suggested the episode.
Thank you, Liam. Thank you.
We also want to plug.
Right.
We recently, Jack and I were on an episode of the Podcast of Terror. That came out on Tuesday, where Jack and I were talking about Gremlins 2.
The new batch.
We were talking about that. It's a horror-themed podcast. We were talking about Gremlins 2. I presume that we were silly and zany, and we were ourselves.
Haven't recorded it yet.
We haven't recorded it yet, but by the time you're hearing this, it will be out. So Google Podcast of Terror, you can find our episode. You should definitely check it out, because while we haven't recorded it yet, we know it's going to be amazing.
Yeah, it was the best episode of Podcast of Terror ever.
Yeah, absolutely.
Also, that's a great name, Podcast of Terror.
It is.
It's a great podcast. So check it out.
Thanks for having us on.
Check out all the episodes, but check out ours first.
I assume we had a great time. Maybe we didn't. We'll talk about that next week if we had a terrible time. But
Dan died that day, and this is just all very ironic.
Oh boy. That's weird.
Yikes. Talking from beyond the grave. Like Leonardo DiCaprio, the Dracula.
And we also have a guest today. It's not the Dracula. Oh, that's it.
We also were going to mention that we're exhausted. Or do you want to?
Yeah, no, we are. Okay, not only are we drunk, but we are exhausted.
We've had the worst week at work individually.
We've been drinking. All of us have had separately terrible weeks at work. Just very, very busy.
Terrible lives,
exhausting.
to be honest.
Every night I put my neck into a noose and then I go to sleep. And if I don't kill myself in the night, I know it's
God
another
wants
day.
you to suffer
That's
another
right.
day.
That's what it is.
So we're exhausted. It's Friday night when we're recording this. We're drinking.
Yes.
We don't have many beers left, which sucks. We should have bought more.
You have that thing of vodka, though, right? We can just start down on that.
All right, we'll do vodka.
We
anyway, so we're exhausted. We're tired. We're loopy. This is going on way longer than we expected. And we have a guest.
It's going to be an exciting episode. And our guest here is Geoff Wolyniec, friend of the show. Hey, Jeff, how you doing? You're going to have to talk a lot closer to that mic. Gotta eat that mic, bro.
How you doing?
Thank you, Jeff.
We're doing how we're doing. We're miserable.
We're doing all right. Well, we're happy it's Friday. It's not Friday when you're listening to it. It's almost Friday when you're listening to this. If you're listening to this the day it comes out.
Probably. It feels weeks go by, the years go by. It's already 2016.
Guys,
3 months in.
What we're trying to say is that time is precious.
I'm wrinkled. I'm old.
You
I'm
have
fat.
to treasure it.
All right, let's talk
Jack,
about this
how you
episode.
doing, Jack?
Pretty soon you'll be dead, just like Beetlejuice. Dun, 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 dun.
You call for me? All right, look at this. Look at this guy's tiny head.
Otho. That was a character in Beetlejuice.
He was.
Okay.
All right, so quick
recap of the plot.
Yeah, let's
do
see.
it as quick as you can, Jack.
Let's see. So It was like 3 hours ago. It was like 3 hours ago. I do not remember how the episode begins.
It begins with
hot tub.
Hot tub.
My first note is you told me something, but I wasn't listening, which is kind of relevant to what you're doing.
So they go to the mall or something, and they go to some home and garden
March
super
day
mall.
out.
Yeah,
Home and something.
There's a
fair,
March
yes.
day out, and they buy a hot tub, and they get the hot tub, and they install the hot tub in the backyard, and they enjoy the hot tub. And
A little too much.
A little too much. They forget that Grandpa had some kind of family day at the senior center. Grandpa's really don't do that. Don't do that.
Nobody can hear it.
Nobody can hear it.
Continue.
I can see it.
I know you can see it.
Cut all this.
Grandpa is upset that they I can still see you in the periphery.
Now you're showing up in the delay.
Grandpa is upset.
Don't lick it.
Grandpa is upset that they missed his family day, and they say, okay, let's do something Grandpa wants to do. And they have like some kind of to-do list that Grandpa always wanted to do, like a bucket list. One of them is go visit a pub in Ireland that he visited during World War II. So they get on a flight to Ireland, and they go, by the way, like we said in the intro, this is a Simpsons Go to Ireland episode. You know, knock off the bullet points, famous things of Ireland, the family visits. In the meantime, the bar is like empty. It doesn't have customers anymore. And basically, they get drunk and they buy the bar. So now Homer and Grandpa have a bar in Ireland, and they can't get customers. So they decide to, apparently Ireland's all gentrified and you can't smoke in public and stuff. So now they allow smoking. At one point, there's a weird scene where Dan sucks a giant dick, and
Hey, wait a minute.
Anyway, they open up a bar, and what did they go to jail for?
I don't remember the
They went to jail?
episode. I don't remember them going to jail.
They go to court.
They go to court because they got caught letting
With
people
the
smoke in the
cigarettes.
bar.
They're letting
Yeah.
people smoke in the bar. They get caught, and they go to trial in Ireland. The judge is Mr. Potato Head, like a literal reverse alphabetical order, anthropomorphic
There you go.
potato.
Jack, we are so proud of you. You finally got it.
There's an anthropomorphic potato, and he is about to tell them they're guilty. And then anyway, Wiggum shows up, and Wiggum like tases himself, and the episode ends with a
just Wiggum tasing
does
himself.
three
Shamrock.
stupid
a Shamrock fade
Cutaway
out
type thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, I'm sorry, guys. That was a terrible plot recap, but this was
Shamrock wipe.
This
It
was a
was.
shit episode.
It was so
This was fucking
really
awful.
bad.
All right, so first scene starts with them pulling up to the Home and Garden Super Mall.
Yeah, so the whole thing was Marge had tricked all of them into thinking it was going to be some fun day for each of them, like a video game day for Bart or something like that, and it was really a home and garden expo.
Yeah, I took very few notes during this episode. It really just did nothing. I wasn't engaged at all. Maybe it was the drinking, maybe it was the whatever, but
Maybe it's just
honestly,
the overall crappiness of the episode.
Little column
I
A,
think
little
it-
column B.
Yeah, I think it was a lot of column B.
Yeah. So we'll just
Wait, which was column
It
B?
was a column B massacre.
oh no!
Jesus. You're going to get a letter.
I don't like that.
Oh yeah, I'll get a letter.
Write to us at We Studios, care of Go Fuck Yourself, Lane.
That's Jack
Brooklyn, New
McCone,
York.
care of We Studios.
No, I think okay. So tipping our hand a little bit here. None of us like this episode. Is that safe to say, Jeff?
All right.
did you like this episode?
Well,
No.
let's
I did
jump
not
ahead.
like this
Didn't answer.
episode.
He made a
Like,
face.
like
He made a
2/3
face.
into the episode, Dan
I
said
don't know
something.
why you asked me.
Yeah. Well, Dan said something about 2/3 in the episode. I think
Yeah.
encapsulates it perfectly. It was
I said
lifeless.
it felt lifeless. This episode felt lifeless.
There were jokes. There was
There were
story.
there were some funny jokes. I
And there
liked
was
bits of this
story.
episode.
There
Yeah.
were a bunch of funny jokes.
Well, there's a loose loose
At least
story
5.
where they
I
buy.
hope the Periscope audience sees me going. "Arr."
They do. There's a loose story where it begins with the Simpsons buy a hot tub and miss Grandpa's special day at the retirement home.
Yeah.
And Grandpa's mad. He wants to do a bucket list thing, and one of his bucket list things is to drink at this pub in Ireland again. I don't know why. That's not really explained. I guess he was there during the war.
Happy memories during
Whatever
World War
war
II.
it was.
Yeah.
Is he still a
Wants
World
to
War II
relive
veteran?
his
At
days
this
of
point,
old.
he's still a World War II veteran, yes.
So
That's a typical bucket list.
At some point, he's going to have to be like a Persian Gulf War
yeah, right,
veteran
exactly.
when the show's in season 70.
Absolutely. But they go to Ireland so he can drink back at this bar, and he gets a drink, and they end up buying the bar, and it's just kind of this is a
Hello.
weird episode where it just basically turns into Homer and Grandpa buy a bar.
Yeah.
And it just happens to be in Ireland, and Bo shows up for some reason.
Right, with
No,
the
they
B
go
plot
to
of
Ireland.
Simpsons go to Ireland, yeah. The bullet
And one
points.
of the
They-
things that happens to them in Ireland is they buy a bar.
Right, but it's like how many Ireland specific jokes can you make? They make
They
four,
tried to make
3
them
or
all.
4, and I think that's it. Like
Yeah.
there's one
They
about
tried.
Barney Stone. We'll talk about
Yeah,
later.
we'll get as a look. I mean,
It's
they're
just
running out of
the Irish
iconic
version of their
locations to do the
characters.
Simpsons go to.
right.
So
I think here's my big issue, and this is why I said it was lifeless.
Right.
Like this episode just kind of moves from scene to scene, and it kind of there's not really a lot of transition. It's just like scenes just
exactly,
happen.
exactly,
And they're
yes.
just there, and it's like, oh, this is the tag of the scene. Are you laughing yet?
It
And
is-
we were not laughing.
It is the anti-Picard. I was not
Make it
engaged.
no.
I was not engaged.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, I was
That
not.
works too.
Yeah.
But let's go back to the beginning, right?
Yeah, so I don't have anything about the home and garden store. I don't remember anything about it. They were there.
Well,
They
I
get
have
sold
I
on
have
a
one thing I
spa.
definitely want to talk about,
Okay, let's
which
talk about
is
it.
they pull into the Home and Garden Expo. Bart is like, you told me it was a video game expo. Lisa was like, you told me it was insert Lisa joke here. And Homer was like, you told me something, but I wasn't listening. That was whatever. I didn't hate that. It wasn't like laugh
Like
out loud
that
funny.
part,
I
but-
was not enthused.
But then it goes on where they park the car and they get out, and Homer says, okay, but we're going to be complaining all the way home. And he pulls out a pitch pipe and says, come on, kids. And they practice
that
their
what that's
complaining.
called, a pitch pipe?
It's called a pitch pipe, yes.
That makes sense. You're a bit, yeah, okay.
No.
Yeah, yeah.
Doing the pitch.
I always just pictured
no,
a
it's not a
harmonica.
pipe.
I always thought it was a harmonica, but you're right. No,
It went on forever.
it went on so long.
Where it was like Homer blows in the pitch pipe, and then Bart and Lisa are both complaining simultaneously, and they just continue. It just goes. It just
In
continues.
pitch.
Yeah,
Which
in
makes no
pitch.
It
sense.
felt like forever.
It
It,
felt
wasn't
like
that
forever.
bad, but it was stupid.
I
and pointless.
I think
Yes.
it was 25 minutes. Is what
I
it was.
get the joke, but I also don't get it. As in, I don't get why they bothered doing it.
Right. I get the
Right, that's my point.
Yeah.
It wasn't that long. Bart said something. Lisa said something. Lisa repeated it in song.
So the joke is like, oh, we're
It
gonna
was like
complain
6
and we
extra
complain in
beats.
harmony, but it was like 30 seconds of the episode was devoted
Yeah,
to this
extra
gag.
beat alarm.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't remember what the boom, 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 beat. I don't remember what the extra beat alarm was. It's
We've
been
got
too long.
beats.
We got beats.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was terrible.
That was terrible.
One thing I liked, I want to counterbalance the things I hated with the things I liked.
It's not going to be
Good luck.
balanced.
Homer goes into the Home and Garden Expo and he stands on I guess like a smart
Welcome, Matt.
was it a welcome mat?
Yeah.
A smart scale is what I was going
Right, but it was
okay. It was a
scale.
welcome mat too. So he stands on it and says, "Your wait is warranty voided," and it was like Hank Azaria. That was funny. That got
He's
me.
fat.
I
He's
laughed
fat.
because he's a
It's a
big
quick
fat guy.
laugh.
He's a big fat guy.
It's an easy
He's
gag.
too heavy for the scale.
Right. Oh, that's what the joke was. I thought it was just like it just happened to be voided the moment that Homer got on it.
No, it was not a coincidence.
Oh, I
It was
thought
a
that
year
was-
to the day.
Okay. All right. So at the Home and Garden store, there was kind of a funny line where Principal Skinner is there showing off garden hoses, and he says, "This is." He like points out 3 different garden hose heads, I guess, and he says, "This is the Simon and Garfunkel +1 of dispersal arrays."
Because it's 3?
I laughed.
Because it's
I
3?
guess you didn't laugh.
Because it's 3 beams?
I laughed a little.
No, it was like the X, Y, and Z dispersal heads. They're the Simon and Garfunkel +1. Like the joke being it was a trio and Simon and Garfunkel was a duo, so he said Simon and Garfunkel +1.
You literally picked any duo +1.
Yeah, but they picked Simon and
And he
Garfunkel.
also
It
picked
was
Simon
fun.
and Garfunkel.
And it's funny that it's
That's a
Principal Skinner.
Skinner.
Okay, Jack. What did you like from this episode? You fuck.
There's one line. We'll get to it much
All right,
later.
we will. I like that. I did not like so much. So it turns out the Simpsons find a hot tub display, not exhibit,
Exhibit.
not exhibit, exhibit.
Display.
They find an exhibit.
Exhibit, display.
It's an exhibit.
Exhibit's more like a museum. Like if it was like Caesar's hot tub.
Right.
But there were several of them, so it wouldn't be really.
They're exhibiting. It's an exhibition of the hot
Okay.
tubs.
Exhibition would be
Exhibition. Exposition.
An exposition of hot tubs. The Simpsons go and
got
we got there. It took a while. Thanks, Periscope. Anyway, the note that I had in my notes is how does buying a hot tub get them to Ireland? And the answer that the episode actually gives us is not so great.
It's not terrible. It's not the worst.
It's you're right, it's not the worst, but it's not great. Like
No.
basically the entire Simpson family likes sitting in the hot tub so much that they are there all the time, 24/7.
It's very relaxing. I've only been in a hot tub maybe once in
kidding?
high school,
Oh,
and I don't
hot
remember
tubs
it.
are
tubs
the
are
best.
great.
I
So
think
hot tubs are
once
great.
when I was on a forensics outing at a hotel, I went
Yeah.
to a hot
Like
tub.
for an hour or two.
We
I
went
wouldn't know.
we
I
went
wouldn't know.
upstate for Jangle's birthday last year, a year from today. If you're listening to this when it came out,
David says it's pretty terrible. I
We
don't know
went-
if he's talking about your
I
Hemus
do
or
not
about
think he's
being in
talking
a
about hot
tub.
tubs.
Not
If he is
talking about
talking
Hemus.
hot tubs. Please leave. the
Hemus is
podcast.
excellent.
Don't leave.
But hot tubs are great. We went to like a place upstate and it was snowing outside. It was like freezing cold out, but they had a hot tub.
That's the.
So you go out and it was like 30, 20 degrees out and you get into the hot tub. It's nice and warm.
But your upper half's not cold?
It was great. It was such a nice dichotomy of temperatures. I recommend cold
good
weather
work.
hot
Somebody
tubbing.
just said you could open up a gallery of my disgruntled facial
Well,
expressions.
someone should. TIFF Animation would so go to that gallery. I keep rubbing up against this carcinogenic mic filter.
No, you're gonna get cancer. No. No, I don't care about the windscreen. I just don't
I
want
know what you care about.
you. I don't want you to get cancer. You don't drop dead from cancer. Well, you
That's
do.
it.
You do
sometimes.
eventually.
Tooth cancer.
Hey now.
Dan's got it.
Yeah, these are all fake
Which
teeth.
means
I would like,
Hemus has
if I
tooth
could if I could have a
I
hot
only have 2 teeth left.
if I could use hot tubs more, I would.
Yeah, no, hot tubs are great. I
Don't
completely
you
agree.
have a hot tub?
Jack, you're going to have a
you
hard
have a hot tub?
I have a
fucking
hot
time
tub.
editing
At
this
home.
episode.
At the Pocono house. No,
Oh, you don't have it at home. I said, why did I think you had one at home? You have a very nice pool
we had a pool.
patio.
You do have a nice pool patio.
I was picturing a hot
I don't know
tub.
how nice it is. It's over 25
No,
years
I mean,
old.
like compared to millionaires, I'm sure
in it,
it's crap.
and
but
we enjoyed it.
Oh, you
Yeah.
were there like what?
10
it was
years
a long
ago.
time. It
years
was that
ago?
time. It was that time I pissed off all those football players.
10, 12
Right,
years
The
ago.
last time we were there.
Yes, I
That
remember
was-
They wanted,
specifically.
they wanted to fuck a N
Poor
word up.
Steve Whalen. That was all Steve Whalen.
No, that was we didn't go
That
to
was-
Jeff's house that night.
We
Did we?
did. We did. It was the same
I
night.
remember
I
that.
don't remember.
Should we tell us
but
that? I don't think we ever told
We were
that
gonna
story.
play poker.
You can
later.
tell it if you want. I remember being there. We watched the Big Lebowski.
We were
We
playing.
had to play Big Lebowski drinking game.
We were
Right,
playing
and it went-
wiffle
and I did
ball.
not laugh.
Horribly
We-
wrong.
Yeah.
I live next to a field.
We got
Well, I
overzealous.
grew up next to a
We did.
field, and we were playing wiffle ball with friends of 90s Percentile. If you listen to 90s Percentile, everybody who was in that
Yes.
episode
Have you
was
had
there.
Stunning Steve on yet? Nothing.
No, we
right?
haven't had Stunning Steve. We're
Not
gonna get
yet,
him
we
on.
will,
He's
we
become
will.
actually a very well-known,
notable stand-up comic in the
notable
New
stand-up
York scene,
comic.
so we're
at the
gonna have
time,
him
he
on
was our
soon.
friend's younger brother.
Yep.
And we're all hanging out, a bunch of nerds playing wiffle ball, and a bunch of cool kids come by playing football. A bunch of like roid, definitely on steroids. And we were talking about playing poker that night at Jeff's.
Yeah.
And somebody said they were walking through our game, and they said, "Oh, you guys play poker? We'll play poker. Yeah. We'll play poker."
I didn't remember that being the
That was the
inciting
impetus.
incident.
That was the-
Yeah.
it? Okay.
And they're like, yeah. You guys want to play? We'll play. And
Steve said something about poker. The guy went up to him.
Steve was just like, "No, sir. We're just gonna play with ourselves." And no, he didn't say it like that. He's like, "We don't need any extra players."
But we did play with ourselves that night.
And like Steve was very nerdy at the time. We were all very nerdy at the time. And
Speak for yourself. I was on the bowling team.
So Steve talked him his way out of it. He's like,
We were
"No."
playing the most atrocious game of wiffle
Yeah, so
ball
Steve,
ever.
we
Steve
were.
was just like, thank you, but no thank you. We're going to play with us. We don't want to play with you guys.
Right.
And they were like, yeah, whatever. And they start walking away. They go, fucking fag. And then that's when I had to say something.
You got mad.
I didn't like that.
You did
I,
not control yourself.
I did
at
not
all.
control
well,
myself.
you shouldn't have liked
And then
it.
once
but-
they,
I should have known better.
Right,
To
that's-
say something.
yes.
But they really
No, you
needed.
could've
They,
said
they
something.
really needed. to-
you made a comment to them, and they turned around.
no, I said go fuck yourself. That's all I said. All I said was go fuck yourself, and I said it.
That's all you said.
I
Right.
said
Go
it,
fuck
but I
yourself.
said it
you could have been more clever.
I
about
said it
but
under my breath, but audible enough for them to hear. it.
Right. No,
I,
you
like, I
wanted
wanted
them
them
to
to
hear
hear it.
It
Yes.
did suck.
Yeah.
My memories
Staten
of
Island
this
specifically
is that they turned around. One guy pulled his shirt off.
Yeah, one
I
part.
seem to remember that.
All right, I'm going to use.
I don't
I'm going to
really
use the
remember
N
that.
word. I'm going to use the N word now. I
No,
don't. No. It's not the way they meant it. I mean, it's not. It's the way they meant it. It's not the way I mean it. But they said
They were wiggers.
Well, I'm not gonna say that either.
I don't like any of this.
So they all like circle me. They all encircle me. They forget about Steve.
Right.
They
It
all
was all about you. Well, you told them to go fuck
I told them to go
themselves.
fuck themselves. So they all what? They like immediately. They all like, oh, thank God, somebody's aggressing us. Now we can be aggressive back.
Right. They said,
So
am I going to have to fuck?
And all right, I won't say the N word.
Am I gonna have to
they
fuck
said,
an
am I
N-word
gonna
up?
fuck an N word up? But it was
There's nothing but white people
But it was
there.
the N word ending with an A, not with an ER. But it was still like
This
shut
was a
up.
different
It's
time.
like,
It
shut
was
up. You're fucking white.
2002.
Don't use any N word. You're fucking white.
Right, I
Anyway,
agree.
so they like yo. So they all encircle me, and they're like, "You gonna fuck an N word up?" Dan and Tom and Mike, they were all in outfield. They were playing against. They're all just like, Jeff
That's
doesn't
where
know what
Steve
to.
was. I was up at.
Jeff's
I was either
way
at
out.
bad at catching,
And Jeff's
so I
like,
was
Jeff
furthest
doesn't
away
know
from
what
the
to do.
action.
I remember this so
I was like,
well.
what the fuck? Are you
It was
guys
one of the
doing? Why are you
scariest- it was
This is
starting
like
with
a
these
flashbulb
assholes?
moment in
no,
our
no,
I
lives.
remember saying to myself, "Why are you starting with these assholes?"
Me,
Just let them go.
me.
Yes.
I remember this. I remember you were all pissed at me. You thought I did something wrong.
Someone said Nutella as the N word.
Yeah, exactly.
It was, am I
Let's
gonna have
fucking
to fuck a
Nutella up.
Nutella
No,
up?
it's nincompoop.
That was it.
But no,
That was
honest. But I remember that you all thought, because you were all out of earshot, besides me and Steve, you
Yeah.
all thought I started it, which I did, but I didn't.
These guys were assholes,
thought
obviously.
yeah,
but
you
you
all thought
antagonized the assholes.
But you thought I
No,
said
you
something.
elevated it to a degree where that was acceptable.
I don't think I
and that
elevated
was-
it. I think
you
I did
definitely
the right
did.
thing.
When
You
you say go
You
fuck yourselves,
stepped
you are
to
elevating
a bunch of
it.
assholes.
But I feel like the
They
way
were being assholes.
I
and
feel
you
like
say,
you
all right,
guys-
you guys can get out of here now, or you can say
I
something
feel
more
like
clever
you
that
guys
makes them
thought
feel stupid.
I
That was
did.
fine,
I
but-
said worse than I did. I feel like you guys were like, yo, come and fight me.
Well,
and
I mean, go
didn't.
fuck yourself.
Go
is about
fuck yourself is pretty bad
It's about
to
the
people
words
like
you
But it was
that.
a
say to
passive
them,
go
unless you
fuck yourself.
There is
But-
no such thing as a passive go fuck yourself.
If there was, that would be it.
But allow me to
And
tell
then when they
allow me
got
to tell
all up
allow me
and
to tell
down.
the rest of the story from my perspective.
Have we got to the part where the Simpsons go to Ireland yet?
No, we have not. The
Hey,
next thing I remember
have
is
another
a guy
beer,
getting
all right?
all in your face. And
No,
you
no.
were-
So he goes. All right. So the guy went to high school with us, and he got arrested or
No.
kicked out. Yeah,
What?
he beat up a guy with a padlock. The guy that came up.
What?
Yeah, he's from my neighborhood. Midland
he went
Beach.
to our high school.
Yeah,
in our year.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't remember it at all.
Yeah. Anyway, he was the one that was aggressive. He was the aggressor, and he came up to me and he goes, "The one that said fuck you, faggot" was somebody else." And he comes
Right,
up
we're
to go,
quoting, by the way.
So apparently, when I said "go fuck yourself," I was saying "go fuck yourself" to whoever said that.
To, like his cousin.
Right, and he goes, "Apologize to my cousin." Yo,
Right, I do remember
apologize to
that.
my cousin.
I do
Yo,
remember
look,
that.
Look,
And
look,
that's
look,
when he
look.
took his shirt off.
Yeah, he took his shirt off and goes, "Look, right now, all you gotta do, apologize to my cousin."
right, I
and
totally remember
And
that.
I felt I couldn't
That's
back
when you
down.
called for Uncle Frank.
Well, no,
Right,
I couldn't
well,
back
yes,
down. I said
that's what happened.
Well, no. At first, I said I wouldn't apologize. I would never apologize. So I said
Right.
I'll apologize
Yeah,
to your
you
cousin.
didn't apologize.
No,
I
said,
remember that.
I said I'll apologize to your cousin if you apologize to my friend. That's I kept.
do remember
I
that.
do
And I
remember
kept
that.
saying that over and over because I was
Yes.
scared shitless and I was on autopilot. And I'm just like,
Right.
And I was just like,
But then-
if you apologize, all right, if you
but
apologize,
then,
I'll
but then
apologize.
this guy
If you-
got a little too loud or a little too close, and you just went, "Hey, Uncle Frank!"
No, that's not why I yelled it. I yelled it because I didn't even think to call for my uncle. My
You
uncle,
saw him. He came out.
Exactly.
He came
my
out,
uncle
yes.
showed up in my periphery
With Rob.
Right.
Anyway, I grew up in this like really shitty Irish. Hey, it's a little connected. It was an Irish neighborhood.
Hey, the viewers have gone up, so
Yeah,
they like
so
this story.
it was an Irish neighborhood, and
This will all be deleted
My
from the
uncle was
podcast.
very fit. My grandfather was like a very well known. He owned a bar in Ireland, in this little area, this little Irish area. And my uncle was very famous among the locals. He's always hanging out. And he's a tough guy. He's
Right.
one of those guys. And anyway, I see him in the periphery. I live with my uncle. He raised me, and I see him in my periphery, and I just go, "Uncle Frank!" And then my uncle comes and I was just
Uncle
like,
Frank!
"Thank
Well,
God!"
but
As soon
Uncle
as
Frank!
I yelled for my life, "Uncle Frank!"
But this guy
I
was
know Uncle
like,
Frank too.
"Oh, you're Frank's nephew? Oh, your Uncle Frank? Oh, shit! Oh,
they
this
say,
is
I
you
know
do."
Uncle Frank too. Let's go talk to him.
Yeah,
That's
no.
what
At
they
first, they weren't like. They were just like, "Oh, yeah, you know Frank." They thought he was gonna like mediate. They didn't think they thought he'd be a neutral.
Right. Oh,
They're
yeah.
like,
You're
"Oh,
right.
yeah,
You're right.
You know Frank. You know Frank Schaefer. You know Frank Schaefer."
Yeah.
And then I realized that had sway. So then I started. I was just like, "Yeah, he's
Yeah,
my
that's
uncle.
my uncle.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and then
fucks.
and then I remember my uncle talks to him. And he goes, "Don't mind him. He's a nice guy. He lives in the city. He lives in the city now because I was living in the dorms."
Oh, no.
And he,
Oh,
and he
were
was
we in
like,
college at
so
that point?
yeah. So
Okay.
he's trying to say he lives in the city. I was like, "Don't mind him. He's just a fucking yuppie. Don't."
Right,
And he's
right.
like, "Don't. He don't mean nothing. He's just from the city."
Yeah.
And he talked them out, and they're like, "All right," and they just start walking away. And then I got balls, and this was really wrong of me. Now
Oh, I
I'm
don't
just
remember
like,
this.
So now I'm just like, he's just, yeah. Why don't we go play some fucking poker? Like care. And like later, I'm just like being like a macho guy.
Right.
And everybody's like, shut up. You're just so lucky.
That
Just
I seem
shut
to
up.
remember.
I thought my heart was racing I thought I was going to get beaten.
Somebody said you should have used the Van Buren Boys sign because the 8th president was their
got it
favorite.
I thought I was going to be beaten to fucking shit.
Yeah,
when
no, that was
they
an
all
intense moment in our
encircled
lives.
me, and he took his shirt off and goes, "Are we going to have to fucking N-word up?" I was like, "Oh, holy shit! I'm about to get the beating of my life."
Yeah.
And all I can remember was I had two options.
I mean, look,
I had two options. I could have
Look.
apologized and just took it and just be like, "I'm so sorry," or I could take the beating, and I was like, "I got to take the beating."
We would
And I
have
was
had
so
your
afraid.
back,
But
that
what would you
meant
do?
very little.
But that meant very little,
Especially
and
at
I
that
appreciate
point.
that. I appreciate that. Jeff was ready to jump in.
We didn't want to have your
But I
back.
was 100 yards away.
But we
I
were
know.
like,
Not
we
100
have
yards.
to
You
have
also
your back.
all
100
thought
feet
you
away.
also all thought it was my fault. You also didn't know
Obviously,
because you
it
didn't
wasn't
hear
your fault.
you didn't hear my
Explain the
side.
story.
You didn't hear my side of the conversation at the time. You had no idea
Yeah.
what I said to them. You
Right.
had
we
no
didn't.
idea.
No, we didn't hear the fucking faggot. That was. What,
And you just thought I said go fuck yourself
Yeah,
randomly.
right.
Guys,
Yes.
this was a very important part in the
It
friendship between
wasn't
the three of us.
life changing, but it
So,
was one of the scariest moments of my life.
It was an intense moment.
Yeah.
First of all,
Yeah.
the guy was like 40.
The next
It's
mo-
one of the closest times I've ever come to getting into a fight in my life. I've
the,
never been in a
the
fight.
next month,
I've never been in a
I
fight
had
either.
to walk 2 blocks to the bus back to the city.
Right.
The next 2 months, I was afraid to walk to the bus stop. Anyway, that's the time I almost got beat up.
Right. Let's go back to the Simpsons episode.
Can you describe the fish animation scene? I'm gonna go pee really quick, but you
All right,
describe
yeah,
the scene.
you can get outta
Let's
here.
get moving.
So there's a scene where all the Simpson family members are in a hot tub. Flanders comes in and is in the hot tub for a little while, but I don't really have anything to say about that. Do you have anything to say about that, Jeff?
I don't
didn't think
remember
so.
that.
Yeah, well, Flanders is like, I don't even remember what he says. Guys, it's been like 2
don't
hours since we
remember this
actually watched
at
this
all.
episode. Flanders is, he's like, cool your jets, like the jets in a hot tub.
So he was.
And
there
he's like,
specifically
oh, why
for-
don't you come down and like join us in the hot tub? Which he does, and it goes nowhere. It's just like, oh, now Flanders is in the hot tub, and there's no gags at all. But Grandpa comes in, and he's angry that they weren't at this retirement home thing,
Family Day.
Family Day, and Grandpa smashes the hot tub. So they all
water
flood
floods
out.
out.
The water floods out. They're all on the floor, and they're flopping like fish. And it was funny for a second to see everybody.
Not even. I don't agree.
Someone
I
on-
don't
on-
agree at all.
Someone on Periscope said mustache shower cap. That's true. That was one of the jokes for Flanders. He puts on a regular shower cap, and then he puts on a little tiny mustache flower
Oh
cap.
my god.
Shower cap. That was okay. But
Sure.
the Simpson family, they're flopping like fish for a moment. You say you don't even like that, Jeff, huh?
Not for a second.
No? You don't like
doesn't
it.
make
You don't like it
sense.
at all.
No.
It's funny in an unexpected, cartoony way.
I guess it's funny in the potato head way, but
Well, we'll get to the potato
we'll
head
get to
thing.
this.
But the joke was they were kept doing the flopping fish thing, and they stopped, and then they did it again, and they stopped, and they did it again. And
But
it
you
was,
said it. You said it.
it was the
exactly
most
right.
Family
Say it,
Guy
yes.
joke that they've done
No,
in
you
recent
said
memory.
that was Family Guy timing
Very
or
family.
something.
I said it was
on-
Family Guy level.
It was Family
level.
Guy because it went on for so long.
because
Right.
it's exactly the same thing
That's what
as
I'm
like
saying. He
Peter
said it at a
fighting the
certain
chicken
point.
or something.
He didn't say it at the beginning,
Okay.
but after 3 years,
Yeah, here's what I-
when they
here's
started
what I
doing the
thought.
second or third flop, he said that's Family
when they
Guy
were
level.
flopping,
Right.
I was like,
And
"This
then they
is
did it
funny
another one.
visually."
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But
Jeff
it
didn't
doesn't.
like it,
but
though.
I didn't like it. I didn't like it because I
thought it
thought
was okay.
it didn't fit The Simpsons. I was like, why
No,
would they
it
be
didn't.
flopping around
It's
like
not
that?
even
And
a
as
cheap
I started
joke. It
to write
doesn't
that
make
note
any
down,
sense.
that's when it started going on too long. So I didn't even like
Right.
it before it went on too long, and then the extra beat was
Look,
just icing on the cake, or
I didn't-
rancid icing.
I didn't love it, but when it went on so
They
so
could have
long,
done anything
I was
else.
just like,
they could
okay,
have done
don't
whale
do this.
noises
All right.
with Homer
Let's-
sliding
I'm
out.
gonna
or
be-
they're, desperately trying to get the thing back together. There could have been
So-
a
It
million
was too much.
other jokes.
It was
too
too
much.
much for sure. But then Grandpa brings out a bucket list.
Yeah, and Homer pulls out his reading glasses. He's in
Right,
he was in
out
a
of his
hot
bathing
tub for
suit.
2 days. Where do you have reading glasses and a bathing suit?
That's fine. I'm okay with that.
Hey,
That's a
cavity
funny
searches.
visual thing.
Anyway, they say what's on the bucket list.
Right. There was a bunch of jokey ones that I don't remember, honestly.
I can't read it because my thumb.
I don't know. My next note
I
is well
like
into
that
Ireland.
joke.
So
So one of them is that he wants to have another drink at O'Flanagan's pub. I don't recall why he had ever gone to O'Flanagan's pub. I guess he was
was on
stationed in
R&R.
Ireland during the war.
Yeah,
Whatever.
for some reason.
And
Defense.
there was an okay gag where they say Homer's like, okay, we'll do that one. We'll go to O'Flanagan's pub. And then it cuts to a shot of derriere, which
Fine,
somewhat
whatever,
funny. You know,
sure.
derriere means butt in French.
yeah,
Derriere.
Yeah.
Derry's a town in Ireland.
sure.
It was okay. They cut to a shot of that flying in the sky, and you don't see, but you hear Homer and Grandpa being like, "What? It's in Ireland? I didn't know that." And it's like, "Oh yeah, it is in Ireland." And then it like pans,
You think they're on the plane.
You think they're on the plane, and it pans over, and they're still in the backyard. Only a minute has
The plane's
passed.
overhead. They pan literally down.
Right,
to
and they're like,
back
"Oh,
to the house.
well, I guess we better book our tickets." But
Meh.
it was a joke.
Eric-
I didn't laugh.
It was a good joke that could have been done better.
Maringo meh.
Maringo. There
Maringo bleh.
you go. We got there. Cut everything before Maringo Bleh.
Don't tell anybody that took us 5 minutes to come up with that.
Leprechauns!
Purity, plasma screen TV.
Summer in Tuscany.
So during the flashback, there's a musical number, and I was worried this was going to be a musical.
Well, before that, there's a gag that I liked and both of you clearly hated, which is they're flying into Ireland and they're like pointing out different landmarks and they're like, look, and there's Kathy Ireland, and it cuts to a woman in a bikini. And it's
hate
Tress
that.
MacNeil or Maggie Roswell or one of the female voice actors saying like, "Oh, hello," and there's a
But they just say hello. That's it.
Right.
They don't try
and
to
there's
be Kathy Ireland.
There's a
but-
caption that comes up that's like, "We asked Kathy Ireland to do the show, and she said no. We wish her well." I thought that was funny because apparently they actually did ask Kathy Ireland to be on the
Is
show,
that
and
true?
she did say no.
Was that on your Wikipedia page?
According to Wikipedia, yes, it is true.
Source of all truth.
The source of all truth. I thought that was funny. That's a funny gag, but Jack especially hated it.
I thought it was too
On the nose.
on the nose.
Is it because they had to call attention to it with the whole
Yes.
thing on the screen?
Exactly, and it was like we asked
Yeah.
her.
How else
We
do
asked
you
her.
call
She
attention
did.
to it?
Don't call attention to it. Who cares?
Yeah. I mean, especially
Can you get
in-
away with saying
We've
that's
had
Kathy
had
Ireland?
other celebrities on the show where it was voiced by a regular, and you just move on.
So you think it would have been better if it was just there's Kathy Ireland?
I
She's like,
thought
hello,
it was
and that's it.
I thought it was a minor case of lampshading. So, did you think it was going to be a musical?
I didn't think it was gonna be a musical.
There's
I
a
didn't
music.
like
The musical's in the flashback, right?
There was a
Well,
flashback
I wouldn't
moment.
call it a music.
A musical
you-
number. The musical number. Was the musical number in the flashback?
I don't recall
The
a
Irish
musical
jig was
number.
in the
There was an
The
Irish,
Irish
jig
Jig was
thing.
the flashback. All right.
Right,
What
it's
did
a
you think about
flashback-
the dancing widow? That's one of the few jokes I laughed at. That's my point.
I laughed at the Dancing Widow is
the
probably one of my
flashback-
favorite
so
things.
the flashback, the people in the Irish bar that Grandpa remembers fondly, they're singing along. They're singing some kind of Irish ditty about Ireland.
Right.
And Grandpa is drunk and he does a jig and he goes out and he starts dancing.
Well,
and there's
even
a-
before that, I loved there was the beer tap and the corned beef tap, which was disgusting.
It's disgusting.
And the cabbage tap.
Yes, and the cabbage, tap.
and
Which was the same joke,
and
just
pink
repeated in a
corned
different
beef
fashion.
coming
Yes.
out of the tap.
I liked that. I didn't laugh, but I liked it. And then, then he goes outside, and there's a widow in all black and wearing a black
He
veil,
does
grieving over a grave.
And Grandpa's singing
30 to
next
40
her.
seconds of
Young Grandpa.
Irish jigging over different things, and that's what I didn't like. And
Yeah, no,
by
it's-
the time it got to
it wasn't
the widow,
fun to watch,
I wasn't
right.
in the mood anymore.
Right, it wasn't
I didn't
fun to
wanna
watch.
this
I thought the
stupid
widow part
joke.
was funny. I liked that.
Fine, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying the widow part was funny, but by that time,
But by that
the
time,
joke was
yeah.
dead.
I mean, we don't like musicals unless they're done very well. This one was not.
By the time that happened, I had forgotten. Excuse me. I had forgotten why Grandpa was even in Ireland and
World
why
War
we were
II.
doing this
Well, I mean,
flashback.
he's still wearing
Just
his
World War II is
uniform.
not really a reason. Ireland was
No,
not
it
a major
isn't,
part of
but-
World War II. But yeah, it was just
the
it had
timing's
gone
right.
on so long, and it was just bleh.
Yeah, but I did like that the
Number
widow.
was interminable.
I did like that the so he's dancing next to a widow, and the juxtaposition is funny. He's happy doing a jig, and the widow is miserable.
The widow's
on her.
literally crying
But
at
then
a
she
grave,
starts
and then it's
clapping
just like,
along.
oh,
And she joins
she's
the
into
jig,
it.
and
Yeah,
that was
I like that.
all right. That's one of the
The
few
clapping
jokes that
was
made
the
me
funnier
laugh.
than joining. the
Exactly.
jig.
What did you
Anyway.
What did you think? So the town that the Simpsons go to is called Dunkleberry, and Lisa says it looks like the puzzle at the pediatrician's office.
I thought that was funny because
cute.
puzzles are very landscapey.
right.
with
You get a
green
lot of
hills.
pastoral
Yeah.
things.
I
and-
thought that
and
was fine.
puzzles. Yeah, that was okay.
What did you? So there was a bunch of Irish puns with the names of the stores, like Colleen's Secret.
Right, but the best, I think this is where you're going,
That
was
was not where I was going.
oh, I thought it was very funny. There was U2's moving company. It says we move in mysterious
That was
ways.
the best.
That was very funny.
What I want to
laughed at
mention
that.
was Microsoft. Isn't Mick calling an Irish guy a Mick like not as bad as the N word because
Right.
Irish people have it a little
it's
bit
worse.
easier.
You're right. It's worse than the N word.
Irish people,
Irish
people
people.
have it a little bit easier
Well,
than
as
black
a-
people in this country, so it's
Look, I'm
not as
half
offensive.
Irish.
But I would say it's as offensive as calling a Italian
Stop
a
it.
guinea or
you
a.
think that the Irish people have it easy in this country? Do you?
They do now.
Yeah, I know they do.
but Mick is
When they
a
didn't.
fairly offensive term.
It's an offensive term.
Microsoft?
It was odd to see
Are
Microsoft.
we to think that if somehow, let's say 100 years from now, race relations have leveled out, and we're cool with black people now, and black people are cool with us, would you say it would be okay for an animated series
Like
to make an
Negrosoft?
N-word soft? Yeah, would that be okay?
No, I don't think so. I think it was.
No,
it was
it doesn't rhyme.
That's
That's not the only reason. No, I thought it was a weird gag because there were other ones. It was like Hewlett Fitzpatrick or something, and then there
but
was
that's not.
no,
a
that
slang.
one's fine.
That's
what
Irish
was the
last
third?
names.
There was a third one.
There's a bunch. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. There were a bunch because they did 3 of these jokes in a row.
They did a bunch.
right. You know,
They did
rule
3
of
different
threes.
sets.
Anyway,
they did
besides
the companies that
Microsoft-
were there, the stores that they walked by, and then more stores. that they
Microsoft,
visited
I didn't
afterwards.
like. I
didn't
loved
like
Mysterious
Microsoft.
Ways.
And
I
that's where
think for
Taco
the most
Bell
part they were
Fest
hit or
was.
miss. Like Taco Bell Fest, I could
Taco
live
Bell
with. I
Fest
could live
was
with
funny.
that.
I like
I
that.
thought they were hit and miss in general.
But that was the 3rd set. I mean,
Well, all right. What about this? There was a runner throughout this whole episode where there were leprechauns in Ireland.
Yes,
yeah.
Yuprechauns, they believe they were
Do we have
called
any
at one point.
Irish? Do we have any? I guess it's too late. If there-
I'm Irish.
Yuprechauns.
No, I mean like actually from Ireland.
Oh, I'm actually from Ireland.
Do we have anybody from Periscope?
Sinead on
Anybody in our
Outfire.
Periscope is actually from Ireland? I'm sure it's too late,
I'm
but
here. I don't know what you're ignoring me for.
I'm more
I'm here
Irish
from
than I am
Dublin.
Italian.
assuming that, all right, this is in the real cut of the episode. If you're one of our Irish listeners, let us know in the Reddit. Did you find this episode offensive? I'm very curious. I feel like
Well, I do know.
I don't think I'd find it offensive if I was Irish. I feel like it was just like a really. I'd be excited. Oh, they're finally doing an episode in Ireland, and it was so fucking lame. I'd be disappointed.
So I'll say this: Liam Tasker, who suggested this episode,
Yeah.
when we announced on Twitter that we were doing this episode this week, he responded and said,
Oh, here we go. We got somebody from Ireland.
we do
It's
have
3
someone from
a.m. It's very late. Mr. Boyle, Nialio? That sounds Italian to me.
"It's Niall."
Was that Niall?
Yeah, Niall. Just like One Direction. What? You don't know your one D?
It said Nialio.
You got Niall, you got Zayn,
Wait, how do you
you
spell
got
Niall?
Harry,
How do you spell
you
Niall?
got Louis, and you got the 5th guy.
How do you
I
spell
can't think
Niall?
Of. Niall.
He's too bored to be offended. Really? That's how you spell Niall?
That's Niall.
Anyway.
You're Niall from One Direction, right? Just tell me yes. That's what I want to hear.
Anyway, Niall is. Niall says he was too bored to be offended. I can see that.
Right.
Yeah,
Well, what
Weren't
else?
you
that,
disappointed when
but-
you want to see a Simpsons episode that like takes place in Ireland? Wouldn't that be exciting to you? I don't personally. I don't think the New York episode was that good. And I was disappointed.
Well, no. So Liam Tasker, who suggested this episode, he said that he personally hates it. That's why he suggested it. And I jokingly said that.
Full ghoul posture here.
I
I'm sorry.
jokingly said that everyone in Ireland has banned this episode and they don't watch it, and he agreed.
I agree. Yeah,
That was joking,
I can see
but-
that.
Yeah. All right.
So they go to this bar, Tommy Flanagan's, where Grandpa wanted to see, and the bar is now obsolete. Nobody goes there, which I don't quite get. It seems to be in a very popular intersection.
Well, I think there was
Everybody's upbeat and they don't drink anymore.
Right, there was some kind of urban commentary about it being like gentrification. There was like a Bed Bath and Beyond, but
I
it
wouldn't
wasn't
call it
called Bed Bath and
gentrification.
Beyond.
Well, the yuppification.
Yuppification's probably a better way of saying it. Just like, there was Taco Bell Fast and I don't remember what the Bed Bath and Beyond was called. It was something Irish punny.
Yeah.
was
Soda
like
bread.
Bob's Burgers would've
McGinty's
done
and
it better.
Beyond.
Beyond, I don't know.
Yeah, Irish soda bread and Beyond. That was what it was.
I'd go there.
I
I'd
would
shop
go-
there.
Irish
I
soda
want
bread's
soda bread
delicious.
and I want Beyond.
That's right.
Anyway,
But yeah, this bar is not doing well. There's nobody in there. Grandpa goes in. The owner, voiced by Calmini?
he's in Con Air. He's the guy that gets his car. John Cusack hooks his car up to the plane. His like beautiful convertible.
Right. I don't remember.
He's in Next Gen. He was the chief.
Apparently he was in the
Deep
Freebirds
Space
movie.
Nine.
Die Hard 2. He was the pilot.
Okay. All right. I remember Die Hard
remember
too.
that.
I don't remember him being in it. But anyway, he's the voice of Mr. O'Flanagan, I guess. And there's a gag in
You see
here.
him, you know him. That's the typical guy.
There's a gag in here
him
where
a
he
big
says,
star.
"Oh, customers, let me get you a pint." And he says, "Oh, it's been so long, I forgot how to say pint. It's a shame that I run this pube."
Why?
What did you guys think of that?
Awful. Shoehorn.
The audio audience can't see this, but right now I'm giving it a double thumbs down.
Right.
Double thumbs down.
So
What was your shoehorn sound effect?
Pop, pop, pop.
pop. I
do it.
didn't laugh, but I get
That was
it.
more poop, 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 poop.
But I get it. I don't really know why I didn't laugh because I think it should be funny. because he's saying
they've made that
pimps.
joke before,
Say
and
something
they've
else.
made that
Don't
joke
say
before in a
pew.
previous episode. Don't know which one. And I actually really like this episode. I like this line. Marge goes, "Run like the wind," and
Okay,
they're like,
that's
"It's
much
run like the
funnier.
wind," and she goes, "I've only read it in books."
Foliage.
And I actually
I like
have.
that. I like
actually
that.
there are words I've only read in books where apparently I do the pronunciation completely
Treader?
wrong.
all right.
I said the Dawn Treader for a very long
Isn't
time.
it John
yes.
Treater? Wait, what is it?
Apparently,
Oh, I never read the book, but
it's good because it's one of the best Narnia books.
okay, I never read any of them.
You should read all the
Yeah, but you
Narnia
don't
books.
take
And
All right, I'm
meat
gonna
or
read 'em
put
all
a
right
T in
now. Those were some good
foliage,
books.
Yeah. Look at all this foliage.
But yeah,
That's
that was
foliage.
kind of a weird joke.
Nuclear, but it's something they've been doing
there
for
was
a
a
long
moment-
time.
There was a moment where Bart pulls out a wallet and it has thank you for giving us hearts. We appreciate that. We entertain you.
oh wow, look at all those hearts.
There was a moment
We've been on
where
a heart streak a little.
Bart pulls out his wallet, and what I liked is that it was an itchy and scratchy wallet. That was a cute little production detail.
Sure. I mean, they couldn't get.
You didn't like it?
They couldn't get Maggie's ribbon right, but sure, put itchy and scratch in the wallet.
Hey, fuckface. Fuck you.
Fuck you, you fuck.
You fuck. There's also a gag where they are watching German Krusty. You guys remember this?
I didn't like
Loved
it.
it.
I didn't
I
like it.
kind of liked it because,
Hi,
yeah, he comes out and he goes, Heil, Heil, instead of hey, hey.
Right.
Jack, I thought you of all people would love it.
We're not. We've already.
I thought you of all the people would love it.
we've hit our Hitler quota for two.
Oh, you're right.
2016.
We have. Okay, I'm sorry.
What?
But I really did write in my notes, hey, I bet Jack liked that.
Color me lost on that.
I
joke.
didn't. I don't care. I don't care for the Nazis.
I see what you're doing.
The only time I like the Nazis are when they're being killed by Indiana Jones.
You're
Evola,
playing for the Periscope viewers. I
I'm
understand.
playing for my soul.
Oh, just like the Seventh Seal or Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey.
More the latter than the former.
Or the latter. What'd you guys think? I thought it was kind of funny that they asked for a drink and the bartender in this Irish pub pulls out Australian Shiraz as the drink. That's kind of funny. All right.
I did like the Guinness. You go see how in the
Yes,
Guinness.
well,
and it's two big basins.
Oh,
And
well,
it's,
that's way ahead. But there
bog
was
water and chocolate syrup.
yes, that's way ahead. But there was a moment where he says, "Well, give me the most Irish drink you have," and it was a shot of whiskey in a potato in a Guinness.
Sure.
That was funny.
Sure.
You didn't like that? All right.
I Lifeless really is perfect description of this episode.
It was lifeless, but there were some things I actually
I
did like.
watched
That
this
was
entire
one of them.
episode with a blank face. I laughed 2-3 times. I didn't mind the Guinness being made out of bog water and chocolate syrup. And he goes, "Well, you don't know what ratio." And Lisa goes, 50-50.
50-50?
He goes-
Yeah.
And he's just like, yes.
Right. They cut away. I forget. Marge had a line that was like, "Oh, Homer's going to do his own thing while we do something, kids," something like that. And it was just. Then it became like Marge sees the sights of Ireland, like in this Simpsons Go to Ireland episode.
Right.
Like she goes to the Giant's Causeway and
Is
is
it-
looking at that.
Is that the? Should we talk about that?
That's the Kubert thing.
Kubert parody. What?
Yeah.
Oh, that's what I was talking about with the animation.
I don't know what the fuck that was. That
So
was terrible.
I was
joke-
in the bathroom at that
The
point.
joke was, "Hey, look, we're doing an animation parody of Kubert," but it was so boring to watch. Like, why bother?
Well, here's my concern. Why?
Why exactly? Why?
Like, I've never
Like,
been
we
to
get it,
Ireland.
we get
I've
it.
never
It
seen
look-
the Giant's
That's
Causeway.
No, I
the
know.
running theme of the episode.
And the joke is,
Why
"Hey,
bother?
it looks like Kubert," but like if you're just watching it, like why? Why?
I guess there's a lot of like pillars, and maybe it sort of looks like Kubert, but it's a weird thing to take 30 seconds of the episode to do a Kubert parody in what year was this? 7 years ago, so it's 2009. That's weird. Kubert had not been prevalent since 1981, maybe.
Why? What year would it have been relevant?
Yeah, no, it just-
1986.
No, no, I don't agree with
It should have
that.
been
It
a
just-
season one
it should have
joke.
Q-bots.
Q-butts. Butts, man. That was Bart doing a Kubert
Did you
voice.
see
Yep,
Sandler
I did see it.
Pixels?
No, I didn't see it.
Kubert's a big character in it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's not,
didn't see
I
it.
never played.
I saw
Kubert,
Wreck-It Ralph, where Kubert was a minor character.
and it wasn't good. Pixels.
You didn't like Wreck-It Ralph?
Pixels.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, that animation was a waste of time.
That
What did
happened.
you? So they also see Reverse Ellis Island. Did you Mick Ellis Island?
Yes, it was Mick Ellis Island.
I actually didn't mind this. Basically, they took Americans in and would Irish up their names, like how we would Americanize foreigners' names.
Right, like Joe Smith. That wasn't the actual name, but it was somebody who was like, "You'll be Seamus O'Shaughnessy." That was funny.
It was amusing.
Well, or at least I wrote, that's a funny idea. It wasn't something that made me laugh.
Right, exactly.
Like the idea of reverse Ellis Island.
Right.
There's something to that. I don't know that they explored it to the full potential.
You're right. But it was something. And then they also had the Blarney Stone where you kiss the Blarney Stone.
Right. Well, wait. Before that, I want to just go back real quick. You mentioned the Guinness thing already. That was bog water and chocolate syrup. But they're on a tour of the Guinness factory, and it was Lisa who was the one who runs away and like investigates the Guinness like off limits room. Because that was weird. Why would it be Lisa? It should clearly have been Bart.
Because Bart had to do the Blarney Stone thing. So they go to the Blarney Stone.
Yeah.
So they go to the Blarney Stone.
Continue.
This was a pretty funny gag where they go to the Blarney Stone
Bart
and people line up to kiss the
yeah,
Blarney Stone.
And Bart spray paints his butt gray so that they'll kiss his butt instead.
Right. So he puts his butt where the Blarney Stone would
Somebody
be. And people are
kisses it
kissing
and
his
Bart
butt.
goes fresh. And then another Irish Nelson type.
Nelson comes
Oh,
in.
Nelson.
I do like Irish Nelson.
Seamus O'Nelson.
Seamus O'Nelson kisses his... no, he goes, I'm going to carve something
carve my
into the
initials,
butt.
yeah.
And they cut to like birds flying out of a tree. I guess he did carve something into Bart's
but
butt.
did he curse?
But he also goes har har
Instead of
ha ha.
Yeah, that was
I
fine.
thought that was funny. I
loved
liked
har
that.
har.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
I
was
liked
But
that
why
too.
didn't when they pulled away to the birds flying? The only other joke that I can remember with that is when
No, that was it.
Mr. Burns forgets Homer's name on
I
the
agree.
card, and he goes,
Who the devil are you?
Yeah, it was the exact same thing.
"That's
Yeah.
the loudest
Part one.
profanity I've ever
It
heard."
was a
right,
weird
right.
cutaway. I don't. It was a really
was.
I
awkward
don't,
cut.
but why do you cut away to a sound
Birds. No, I don't
causing additions without actually alluding
Hearing
to
the
the sound?
Yeah,
at
no,
all?
it was really awkward. I thought the same
that's
thing.
what I'm saying. It
I thought
felt
the exact
weird.
same thing. It was really awkward cut.
Right.
Lazy.
All right, so
Lazy.
this is
It was around this.
this is where we get to the main plot.
Well,
So
yeah, it was around this point that I thought this was a lifeless episode. This is when I put it in my notes. Like, this
this is
episode
where
is
I put it in
lifeless.
too. Lifeless as well. Yeah.
Because what happens next is it's the next day, and Grandpa and Homer, I guess, were drunk the night before, and they sober up. And O'Shaughnessy, or whatever the hell his name was, O'Flanagan, says, "Yeah, you guys bought the pub last night when you were blind drunk." And I did like
There's
he
a
had
good line. There's a good line.
for blind drunks. You had an excellent knowledge of Irish real estate
Yeah,
law.
because they were
That's
like
the line
they
I
made
liked.
sure it was up to code and all
But
that.
they're
right.
all blind drunks.
How dare you?
Well, that's the joke. Dan.
I am
That's why I
Irish.
didn't really
You
like it.
son of a
the
bitch.
joke was that they were really wasted and they signed this contract
Right,
like
right.
I'm going to buy your bar,
But
but,
it's-
they
no, but-
got all the codes
Look,
right.
it's
Like you
very-
got to make sure you fix all your
That
windows.
was the
Right. It was fine.
I liked it.
It was just, it's very strange because the episode from here on out is really no longer The Simpsons Go to Ireland. It's The Simpsons, it's Homer and Grandpa, and
buy a
Mo, for
bar.
some reason, own a bar.
Yeah, that's where it switches.
And it's just like, okay, this doesn't need to be in Ireland.
Although-
We could have done this at home. There was a line that I liked, which was when Homer is trying to drum up business for the bar, and he goes up to somebody and says, "Hey, you should come have a drink." And the guy says, "Oh, but I'm an AA." And Homer says, "What are you, stuttering Fonzie?"
AA.
Maybe I just like a good pun.
I completely
but
missed
yeah.
that. I think that's hilarious.
AA. What are you, stuttering Fonzie? I love it. I think that's very funny.
That's clever.
The best I can say is
well, I shouldn't say clever.
It was a little rushed. Maybe I think they could have had that joke breathe a little more.
I
Jeff
like it.
completely
And
missed it.
I like it. And I don't like it. I got it. I don't know. I think there was something in the delivery. I don't know. It's funny. AA. But I didn't laugh.
Yay.
My next note
What are you
was
stuttering, Fonzie? I don't know. Maybe I was like turned off by them making fun of AA. I don't know.
yeah. My
That's a
next
fair
They are a
point.
bunch of cowards.
they are. Whoa! I can't have a drink.
What, AA people?
Oh,
There was a previous
boy.
there was a Simpsons episode we covered about a month ago where they called AA people
Yes,
who go
that's
to AA
true.
cowards, which was a bit much.
Yeah, Irish people should definitely hate this episode because it's not good. So there was a note where Bart writes down, "Note, next time visit Scotland." I don't remember what he saw that made him write that down, but it was
Lisa
just
was
like
talking to him about the sites.
it was very, very bland.
Yeah, Bart, shut up, Bart.
Yeah, I didn't care for it. Let's talk about the once joke because you
Yes.
really liked it.
This was-
Jeff and I have not seen
All
once,
right.
but you have.
I've seen once. I loved it. I thought it was one of the best movies of 2007.
So this is
I have
Glenn
not seen the
Hansard.
musical.
Right.
So once was a movie. It was an Irish-made movie, independent film from 2007. It was originally supposed to star Cillian Murphy. It eventually starred a musician at the time from the
Right.
Swell season,
Right.
Glenn Hansard.
Hansard.
And it's a really like touching musical between it's a musical. It's a touching romance story between this Irish singer and this Eastern European immigrant. And it's really beautiful. She's married. Her husband lives in another country, and it's an unconsummated love. It's really beautiful. The end of the film, spoilers, he gives her a piano so she can pursue her musical talent. Anyway, he's in the episode. He plays this famous song.
Well, there's both of them actually. It's
Yeah.
both of the main characters.
Yeah,
at once.
so he's playing his song, and they're like, "That's so sweet." And he looks up at the girl, and he's like, "I love you." And her Eastern European husband, no, I don't think we ever see in the movie. He just goes, "Quit sending her pianos," and he throws the
yeah,
piano
he
out
shows
the
it
window.
out the window. That was funny.
I don't know if it's because I've seen once. I think that was
I
such
liked
a
it.
funny goddamn joke. It is my favorite joke of the episode. I think it's just a
Okay.
genuinely funny
But it was another
joke.
30-second joke that had what as a payoff.
That's a good point. That's a very good point.
Yeah, it's a specific
thought that
reference.
happened
It's a very
often.
specific reference.
But I've never seen the movie, and I still liked it because I guess I just
because it was
inferred,
Dan
like,
Castellaneta's Eastern European
Stop sending
delivery.
her
Stop sending
pianos.
her pianos. Yeah,
Yeah, I liked
I thought it was the best joke in the episode.
Then Mo
But you've
shows up.
seen once, and you're part of it.
Yes, I know,
I'm sorry,
I know.
but a
Oh, you're
small
part of the
minority.
Illuminati that's seen once.
Yes, that's
sorry.
where I was going. I was
I
going to
know. I
Illuminati.
could see how if you haven't seen the movie, you don't get it. But
What do you-
Dan seems to like
What
it.
do you think? You're better than us
Because a
because you've seen
piano
once?
crashed out of a window. Of course,
that's
this
funny.
goof
That was
laughed.
funny.
So what are you saying? What
you're
are you
saying
saying?
I like dumb jokes about pianos? Is that what you're saying? 'Cause it's
So you're
true.
saying you
I
didn't
do.
like it, or you did like it,
I didn't really like it.
but you don't like the
I didn't
chaos of a
understand
piano
it.
falling out? Dan,
Not really.
Dan did.
I liked
Because
it.
it had no context to me. I didn't see.
I
one.
see
I
that.
didn't
I
know
can
it.
see that
I don't
Once you
need
explained
context.
it, it seemed funnier.
I know.
Yes, but
I could see your point
In the
100%.
moment,
I
I
think it
didn't
was
really-
much. I think it's much funnier knowing the movie.
I
Because
like
it's such-
Sam- Piano
absolutely it
Smash.
is. Once you actually explained it,
and who
yes, I
sees the
laughed a
movie?
little
No,
bit,
you're
but
right.
I
You're
didn't-
right. They did win
in the
best
moment, I
song.
didn't
They won an
laugh
Oscar
about
for
it.
best song.
sure did.
Yeah,
Glenn
that's all well
Hansard.
and
Glenn
fantastic,
Hansard
but-
did a big long thank you speech, and then the music cut off before the girl
I
got to
remember
say
that,
it.
yes.
And Jon Stewart was hosting the Oscars at the time. After the
Right, I
commercial
remember
break,
that, yeah.
he came out and he goes, "Look, I got to bring her back
they
out.
cut
She
her
didn't-
off.
She didn't get to
She's
say
come back.
thank you."
Yep,
And
I
she
remember
came
that.
out and she was embarrassed and she said thank you. It was a very sweet moment
Yep.
with Jon Stewart.
Yep. Jon Stewart's a big cutie pie.
Nah, he's okay.
I like Jon Stewart.
Eh.
Jack's a
a
dick.
bit of a dick.
He's
So Mo shows up in this episode.
yeah, that was unnecessary.
Mo literally comes in a crate, and I think he says like, it's the only way I could afford to travel," or something like that.
Stupid.
It was stupid, and it's just like
forgettable.
you're bringing Mo in because now the plot is not the Simpsons are an island; it's the Simpson
Have bought a bar.
men own a bar. And who is a good person to have? But Mo. You
'Cause
bring
he's a
Mo in
bartender,
because he's
yeah.
a bartender. It makes sense, but this is a different episode. Like you're doing
Yeah.
a
No,
whole Ireland
I thought
thing.
Mo was an unnecessary addition.
Right. I also have a note here that
Maybe
says,
even come up with an Irish Mo.
Well-
like he'd like, I'm Mo's cousin. Oh, Mo.
like Mo Malley.
I wouldn't
Yeah,
call it
exactly.
unnecessary. He
What did
advanced
you
the
call
plot. He was
Did
the one
he?
who came
Pop,
up with
pop, pop.
the smoking idea.
Well, I do want to mention the smoking. So, do
Okay.
you have anything before that?
Well, I just wanted. I wrote "rape the law." I don't remember what that
Oh,
was.
yeah.
we
He says
thought
we
Mo
can-
said something about
He
raping
says we
the
can
law.
rape the
Right.
law, and please, no more rape jokes, and nothing rape associated with Mo, please.
I don't know
Please.
that he actually said "rape the law." I think we just heard
I think
it
you
that way.
heard that.
What did he say?
never went
Break
back.
the law?
Break the law, probably.
And now we're just hearing rape
And now
every
we're-
time
we
Mo
just
says
hear-
something because they've
we-
done such a Mo.
Mo 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 Mo
Mo.
Mo
Mo.
Mo.
Mo. So there's a
and,
scene.
and I also had a note here. I wrote, "quote I hate." Wait, hang on. I'm sick of these leprechauns. Quote Jack.
yeah, I did. I did say that.
Because there was a runner in this whole episode about these like yuppie leprechauns talking about like stocks and stuff, and I
They
didn't-
weren't talking about anything. They were saying
It
random.
was stupid. It was
words,
really
and
dumb.
then they would end it with a word that
Is that,
sounded
I don't know if
like
our Irish listeners are still watching, but I like. Oh
like
yeah, there he
Tuscany.
is. I just want to say that
Mo
I'm
raped Lisa. Someone just said
during a break-in. Ooh.
that's just deeply
So
disturbing.
I just want to say that I'm pretty sure Irish people aren't actually actual leprechauns, and I wish the Simpsons
No,
would stop.
but Jesus, we are not.
I wish the Simpsons would stop depicting them as such.
Oh,
It's
the
better
Emerald
than
Isle.
jockeys.
That's true, laddie.
Yeah. Anyway, so they decide, look, if you can't smoke in bars, we'll be the bar where you can smoke in.
Right.
And
Mo says to them, you should offer to your customers the thing that they
Right.
can't do anywhere else.
There's a no smoking sign, and they spend a whole scene. It was just this one scene where he
Yeah.
takes the no smoking sign, rips off the no, puts it back, and now it says smoking. Is
Right.
that necessary?
No, and it's weird because now the episode becomes Homer and Grandpa and Moe own a bar where people are allowed to smoke, but smoking is illegal. And
It's
also
almost
it's
like
in
the
Ireland.
Seinfeld subplot where Kramer just lets people smoke in his apartment.
Yeah.
Look away, I'm hideous.
But it wasn't as good as that.
No, it
and that
wasn't as
wasn't
good.
even one of the good Seinfeld
But
plots.
I can't believe the joke was Moe put a sign up that went from no smoking to smoking. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. What did you guys think of? There's a moment where Moe is like, now that I'm on Ireland, I can track down my father. And he pulls out a box of Lucky Charms and says, this is the only photo I
family.
have from when I'm a kid.
He calls it a family picture.
Right.
We have a rule of if we ever do burp or fart, we cut it out of the podcast. But if I could generate one right now, I
If
would
they're
just
gonna
make
put that into the show,
I would just make a big fart noise for that joke. Or just
Oh, I licked the thing.
oh, you got cancer. No, seriously, that was like a fart-worthy joke. That's just a.
Yeah, no, that was lame. That's just like, oh, we're in Ireland. Let's make a Lucky Charms reference. Oh, Jesus.
Anyway, the plan works. They become popular. Everybody comes to smoke in their thing. You know, if this
Right.
was made a few years later, they could have became a vape bar because that's
true.
big. We have vape bars on our corner.
Yeah,
and it's
right
like literally
where-
people just going to vape inside the room.
wasn't this
And it's
when
just like,
New
what?
York
Vaping is
banned
weird.
smoking
Vaping's
in bars?
weird and stupid. If you vape,
Well,
you're stupid. I'm sorry. It's
if-
just stupid and weird.
If Wikipedia is to be believed, so they were going to do an Ireland episode, and also I think James L. Brooks saw an article in the New Yorker that was like smoking banned in Ireland, and they're like, we should put that into the episode.
Oh, that's a great episode.
I don't know that you should.
Let's put everything we read in the newspaper
Yeah.
into an episode.
yeah.
It's like,
Paul
who wants-
O'Neill endorses Donald
What is this,
Trump.
Law
Let's
and
make
Order?
that into an
Let's make that an
episode.
episode. He almost hit 2 dingers.
Yeah, let's make that into an episode. We got a whole season based on Paul O'Neill, former Yankee.
He's a
Remember this-
crossword puzzle. Let's make that an episode.
Remember the Seinfeld episode where Paul O'Neill is supposed to hit 2 home runs?
Yeah, I just said 2 dingers.
Oh, yeah. I get you.
It's been ruled a triple. That doesn't count.
Yeah, it's just as good.
That little blonde kid became John Connor in Terminator Sarah Connor Chronicles.
Really?
Yes. No,
didn't-
I just made up the most random fact of all time.
I
No,
would not
yes.
put it past you, Pacone.
No, that's true.
Okay, that's awesome.
So they become a very popular bar. Everybody's going there to smoke and such. And eventually the cops find out and bust them. They come in and bust them in. Literally, they dust bust. There's a dust buster.
and
They
labeled
dust bust-
evidence.
Yeah, and they dust bust all the cigarette
Yeah,
smoke.
that
and
was
it,
funny.
And
I
it fills
laughed
up
at
a
that.
bag that says evidence.
I like that.
I like that. That was a
Agreed.
that was a fun visual gag.
Yep.
So then they arrest everybody, and they go, let's throw them into the paddy wagon. The us wagon. And I have this written down. Jeff said, you couldn't do better than us wagon.
Yeah, I mean, that's not
Or
great.
is that the joke? Were they like saying,
I mean, that's the joke.
Well,
you're not supposed to
it's-
make fun of us, but we're going to make
Ow.
fun of us anyway?
It's the joke, but it's a weak joke because the joke is, like the paddy wagon was like when the Irish were drunk, they'd put them all into the paddy wagon and they're all
Yeah.
named Patrick.
Yeah.
They're all patties.
Kids
but-
get that.
Yeah, kids love their 1930s humor.
Fair enough.
But this was just, I agree with Jeff. Like, is this really the best we could do? Like, we're just referencing paddy wagons and then making a very, very weak joke.
No, it's
But you
stupid.
just change it to us? Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah, no. I mean, that's lampshading to a degree. They're not pointing it out, but
You're right, it is.
The joke is
That's what I'm saying.
The us-
Is it
yeah.
lampshading or is it just
It's
really
somewhere in
bad writing?
between.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm
Lampshitty is
really
what I
having
think it is.
difficult
no,
telling
you're
which
right.
it is.
No, you're right. You're right. You're right.
And at that point, is it really lampshading?
It's shitty writing disguised as lampshading, which I think a lot of
I
people.
Well,
think
that's what lampshading
That's
is.
what
right?
lampshading is. Yes.
Is it?
Yeah. No.
it's just disguising a joke.
The negative lampshading is a negative
I don't know.
connotation.
Because if you're going to say Archer is full of lampshading, then, I mean, it really does
I
well with the
agree, Niall.
lampshading. All the, the...
No, exactly. Lampshading has a negative connotation. There's a difference
Are we
between
still doing phrasing?
There's a difference between meta jokes
Oh,
and
but Jesus, it's my cousin
yeah, no,
here.
you're right. Because when Archer does it, it's funny.
Right, that's what
Yeah.
I'm saying. But it's clever, too, because they
Well,
do it in...
No, you're right. You're right. There is you can have good
This
lampshading
in
and
no
bad lampshading.
way
You're right.
do it
clever.
well,
This was
yeah. This was a lazy joke.
Completely devoid of. So I wouldn't call it lampshading though, because I don't.
We're doing a Simpsons in Ireland
worried
episode.
that it's lampshading.
We're doing a Simpsons in Ireland episode. Paddy wagon is the thing that's Irish. Let's make a reference to it.
It's a thing that's here though. Do they call it paddy wagons
But
in Ireland?
that's why it's a shitty joke, because then the joke is, an us wagon.
No, it's terrible.
Us wagon.
It's terrible.
I licked the thing again.
Speaking of Paul O'Neill, there was some kind of Yankee analogy. I don't remember what it was, but I wrote down Yankee analogy.
Yes, I have it. I wrote it down. It's Bart says, America is the New York Yankees of country, powerful and respected until the year 2000.
I like that joke.
I thought, Homer says that, and I thought that was kind of funny, but then Grandpa is like, well, that was an apt analogy, and then Homer's like, yeah, apt. Terrible.
I'm telling you,
I didn't like that.
I didn't like the.
callback.
I don't know how I feel about the whole Yankee
That is
analogy.
a callback.
I guess, because that was earlier in the episode, right? There was an apt thing that Lisa said.
It was
it was a different
it was
episode?
A completely different episode.
Oh, bullshit. This is
I
a
didn't like the
callback
Yankee
then.
analogy because it was too on the nose. That's all. I thought it was too on the nose.
Yeah.
It's too specific. After the police arrest them for having smoking in the bar or whatever, they go to court.
Yes, they do.
And there's an Irish judge.
Yes,
and
I don't remember the line that introduces the judge. Do you?
No. But
Okay.
the Irish judge is a anthropomorphic potato head.
So they say something about Irish people, we love your blank, and your Mr. Potato Head. And then they cut, and the judge literally is Mr. Potato Head.
And like Jeff pointed out while we were watching, is like, okay, if that was a cutaway gag, fine. But
It
the
could
rest
have been
of
okay.
the scene, the judge is an anthropomorphic potato
Well,
head.
it's weird to literally have a character who is
A
Mr.
talking
Potato
living
Head.
potato.
This isn't Toy Story. This is The Simpsons.
This is the Simpsons are in Ireland.
Right.
They're on trial, and the judge
And
is
Mr.
a living, breathing potato.
When you say it like that, it sounds ridiculous.
Like, you have a potato, and not only is it human and has human characteristics,
But he
it
looks like
ascended-
Mr. Potato Head. He has the mustache and
it
everything.
ascended the rank of judge.
Yes. Oh, you don't think potatoes can become judge? You racist bastard.
Not in the Simpsons universe.
Not
no.
in Ireland. I see what you're saying.
Am I wrong? Is that too ridiculous to have a potato head?
No, I thought it was ridiculous because it kept
thought it was
being
absurd.
a
That's why I
character.
made the comment.
And it was like, it was just like, this is the actual judge. Like, no, we're going to treat it seriously that Mr. Potato Head is the judge in Ireland, which is ridiculous.
All right, can we talk about the Wiggum ending and then wrap things up?
Yeah, let's get this fucking thing done. So Homer is in jail, or no, he's not in jail. He's in front of the judge, and Chief Wiggum comes out because he's extraditing Homer.
Jesus fucking Christ. If this episode couldn't get any worse, it did right there.
Yeah, so Wiggum comes out, and he is like, oh, I need my eye spray, and he pulls out mace
There were
and
three
sprays himself in the eye.
That's the very last
That was
scene.
the second
Why
one.
is Wiggum there? Why did Wiggum
I have
show
no
up?
idea why Wiggum. He's there to extradite
To
them back
extradite
to
them.
Springfield or something.
It was literally like, we don't know how to end this episode.
That was not
Let's
made
have
very clear.
Wiggum show up. Why does Wiggum show up?
I have no idea. There's really no reason at all. And when he shows up, it's ridiculous because he pulls out his mace and sprays himself in the eyes.
So he appears for no
something
reason.
before
That's
that.
crime number one. Crime number
Right.
two is then it just becomes the Wiggum slapstick hour.
Right, and nothing is better in a cartoon
It's
than
another
physical comedy.
30-second joke shoehorned in for no
Pop, pop, pop,
fucking
pop.
reason.
Well, he sprays himself in the eye with mace, and he's like, "Oh my god, that hurts so much!"
He
and then
sprays
somehow,
himself with the mace to fix something. I forgot what he did.
right?
In the
I don't
first
remember
place.
what happened at first, but
don't
It
know
then
the name
was
of
just
the
it was
man.
just so forgettable.
Bar. What's the name of the man?
I'm not getting involved.
But then he also takes out his taser and like
Tries to talk
tases
into it as a
himself?
walkie-talkie.
It
Yeah,
just goes
it's
on
terrible.
and on and on, and then we're like,
And
wait
well,
a second.
well, I said to you guys, I was like, "This is the last scene," and you guys like, "No, this can't be the end." And then it zoomed out with a little shamrock thing, and it was the end. It came up, Al Jean,
Shamrock
executive
wipe.
producer.
Even the people on Periscope know it's a shamrock.
That
Wipe.
it was a shamrock.
It was a
wipe.
shamrock wipe.
Throw him in the paddy wagon. I mean the us wagon.
I think it's time to rank this episode. I think we're done with the name of the grandfather.
I just want to really hammer home how pointless that Wiggum ending was.
It was.
It
and
was awful.
It
It
was
was
a
awful.
pointless
It
end
was like a
to a
Saturday-
lifeless episode.
It might have been the worst ending I've seen to an episode
was like
yet.
getting out of
It was
a
worse
Saturday
than the
Night Live
Wiggum
sketch.
non-ending.
You're right, and
Like
that's all we have to say.
Pointless. It was so stupid. It's just like we don't have this episode. Let's have Wiggum do 35 seconds of slapstick.
It was a Saturday Night Live
you're right.
ending of the sketch.
It was a Saturday Night Live ending. Oh, you don't
Right.
like the juice. You don't know how the sketch to end.
Let's end with Chris Farley dancing or
You
something.
want the sketch at the end, huh?
Yeah,
That's exactly
The
what it
sketch
was.
go on too long, huh?
They pulled out their fattest character and said, "Dance."
You're right. Dance, fatty, dance. That's how it ended. So that was
Piece
it
of
for.
shit ending. That really was the worst part of the episode.
So that was it for In the Name of the
Bringing Mo
Grandfather.
back is one thing. Bringing Wiggum in for no reason but to end this episode on
Right, and why not bring in an
It's
Irish?
like- it's like if you were doing-
Mo
yeah.
and an Irish.
It's like if you were
I'm
doing
trying to wrap up the
if you were
show.
doing a Judd Apatow movie, you were doing
Yeah.
like a shittier
Well, you opened
version
a
of
can of
Knocked Up
worms
or
here,
something.
Dan.
Okay.
And then all of a sudden
Knocked
you're just
down.
like, let's bring in Russell Brand, and he's just gonna do a minute of shtick, and that's how the episode's gonna end. How weird would that be? That's
That
how
would be
this
weird.
episode was. It's
And
like,
I like
let's bring in
Russell
this.
Brand.
Let's bring in this character that we like. I love Chief Wiggum.
Yeah.
Let's bring in this character we like and have him that doesn't belong here, and have him do something that makes no sense for 35 seconds.
Yeah, no, it didn't. It was terrible.
This
it was
was a
terrible,
shitty
terrible
ending.
They're almost done.
So that's all. I think that's it. That's all we have to say for In the Name of the Grandfather. So it is time to rank this episode on our Hippo scale. We're going to be looking at the humor, the integrity, the production values, and the originality. So we're going to put 2 minutes on the clock. Jack, can you do that for us? Beep, boop, beep, boop, beep, boop, beep. Guys, we are looking at the humor of this episode, 0 to 5. What do you got? Turning to Jeff first. What do you think, Jeff? 0 to 5, 5 being the best, 0 being the worst, 2.5 being right in the middle.
I was gonna start with a 3.5, but I think I'm working my way back down to a 2.5.
You don't understand.
Wow.
You don't understand the scale.
So 2.5 is average. Like, this is an average Simpsons episode.
I would say
in
half
terms
of
of
the
comedy.
jokes were funny.
Wow.
Not
okay.
even, no.
So Jeff says 2.5. Jack, what do you say?
Maybe I'll push that
0.5.
down to a 2.
Really? Wow.
No, there were a few funny
That's
things
actually
that we
lower
actually
than I
laughed
would have
at.
thought you would go.
I would give it a 0, except for
There
the
was some
Guinness
Hans
joke
Moleman
and the
No.
one
stuff.
joke.
There was a
There
few
were some things we
puns
liked.
and
There was 2 things I liked. Out of
AA, Stuttering Fonzie.
listen,
the original Potato Man
a
joke
classic
was funny
Simpsons
when it first
episode.
checked it.
A classic Simpsons episode. One that would be ranked 4 to 5 on the humor scale.
Yeah.
Would have on average about 3 jokes a minute. This at best had 3 jokes the entire episode.
I didn't hate this episode as much as you did. I didn't like it, but I'm going to give it a 1.5 on humor.
5.5, and that's almost too high.
Wow. Integrity, Jeff, what do you think? All right, Jack,
That's
what do you
rough. I
think?
don't know where to go with that.
Integrity is 2 different things. Integrity is, are the characters acting themselves,
Right.
and the emotional, is there any great emotional scenes? There's no big emotional scenes in this. The
really
characters are
isn't.
No.
not. The characters are not acting themselves.
Yeah.
Nobody's acting out of character. There was never a line where it's like, that doesn't make sense for this
We laugh
character.
at some of the jokes.
Yeah, Michael is saying we listed almost no jokes that we liked. There was some stuff I liked.
The
I
lunch
liked
joke and the Guinness joke. Those are the only 2 I liked.
I liked the one. I liked both of those. I
The
also
Taco
liked
Belfast. The
yeah,
Microsoft
there was
was
some-
still funny, even though it was obscene.
A 4,
There were some things I liked.
4.5 is
And the
3
Hewlett
jokes a minute. This had,
factory. I mean-
at best, we're coming up with 3 jokes the entire episode.
Right.
No, I don't. I would.
That is 1/22nd of whatever
Double or
4.
triple that,
Jeff,
but
you're
I
the
would-
best at math. What is 1/22nd of 4.5?
you lost me.
Yeah, exactly. It's not. It's 0.5 is high. That's what I'm saying.
I'm giving it a 2 on integrity
1/22
because
is the
it's
best.
slightly below average because there's not really anything
between
bad with this
4 and
episode.
5%.
That's what I'm thinking.
I'm giving it a 2 for the exact same reason.
Jeff, what do you think? Integrity.
All right. Two's
All right,
fine.
there we go. The production values on this episode, not a super well.
I know
There's not a
Jack's
lot of
gonna
visual
go.
stuff in this episode, right?
I feel like a Simpsons go-to episode
It
gives
did
you
have the
room to
Kubert
do
joke.
some fun stuff, and
Yeah.
they did. The Cooper joke did not
the
land.
Kubert
though.
joke was nothing to me.
I'm gonna give it a 2.5.
And it did the
Straight
fish
down the
joke
middle.
as well.
I'm gonna give it a
Really
2.
The fish joke. The
And
fish
it
joke.
also had your little yellow bow
The
tie.
fish
I mean, I
joke
don't-
Yeah.
looked funny, but on a humor scale, it wasn't
well, it just
funny
went
because it
on
was
too long.
pointless. That's not a production. Well,
I-
maybe it's
you
a
know,
production.
I
Maybe
think
it's
it's
editing.
production.
I think a
Direction.
piece.
You're right. I'm dropping it. Jeff's right about the fish joke. I'm dropping it to 2.
Yeah, and I think part of the reason I'm giving
I'd
it
be
a
even
2
lower than that.
is
I'd
the
be lower.
lifelessness
I
of
might
the
go lower.
episode. Like, this just felt boring. It just
You don't
the
think
transitions
you
between
think that's
scenes.
more production or originality?
I think that's partially production.
I
Like,
agree. 1.5. I'm going down a full
Oh
point.
wow! All right, I'm still saying 2, but I didn't like it.
1.5. You're right.
And finally,
that
the
whip.
originality of the episode. Well, boys, it is a Simpsons go-to episode. Not very original.
Right, but they should have gone to Ireland eventually if you're going to hit up all the
But
major
they didn't
countries.
even
guess.
stay with that. They changed mid-episode.
But it's also a Simpsons go-to episode where what they end up doing is opening a bar, which could have happened literally anywhere.
There's also no story. Opening up a bar is one
No
thing.
story at all. They
Opening
go
up-
they
opening
go
up-
back to Grandpa's favorite bar and then nothing.
Opening up a bar is one thing, but the entire arc of the story is they open up the bar, they allow smoking, and now they go to court, and then there's a potato.
There's
and
Mr.
then
Potato
Wiggum.
Head and then Chief Wiggum. Yeah,
That's not. There's no story. There's
No,
no
you're
story
right.
besides to go to.
you're right.
I'm on
One.
a 0.
I'm giving him a 1.5. Jeff is on a 0. That's harsh.
He's not wrong.
That's
he's
harsh,
not
bro.
wrong.
Okay, so we have ranked this episode, and In the Name of the Grandfather has ranked as a slightly better episode than Barding Over and a slightly worse episode than Little Big Girl. That puts it as number 18 on our worst episode ever list. Pretty low.
That's 18 from the bottom.
It's
That's 18
sad
from the
that
bottom.
there's 18.
So bottom 20.
It's sad that there's 17 episodes worse than this, but I believe it
that's
because I've
hard
lived
to-
through
Oh
them
yeah.
all.
No, this episode I didn't like it, but I didn't hate it.
I hated it.
Middle of the road is where I think it
hated
should be.
I
hated
hated
it.
this episode, but I didn't
All right.
really hate it.
I
Okay.
laughed at it, but I hated it.
There you go.
No, this was a bad episode.
Not one
This
we
was
want to
not
watch
middle of the
again.
road.
Not
This
one
was
we
not
want to
middle of
watch
the road,
again,
yeah.
for sure.
If we're using lately, we've been using my aging body as a metaphor for our scale.
Yeah.
If my expanding middle is where these middle episodes are going, and my growing cusping man boobs is where the higher episodes go, this
Right.
is my gout-ridden feet. This is
This is-
down.
all
this
right,
is
you
down,
heard it here, folks.
This is down by my weak ankles that keep me from running in the morning.
These
anymore.
are Jack's gout-ridden Freet. Freet?
Freet.
Hey,
my-
I'm Freet.
Palm
No.
Freet.
I'm a new character.
Freet is not a new character.
I'm Freet.
Palm Freet.
Nice to meet everyone. Freet. I'll see you at the bus stop. I enjoyed that character a great deal. That is it for this episode of Worst Episode Ever. If you have an episode that you would like to suggest, you can submit.
No, don't hail Freet.
Oh, hell, Freet.
Please do not make this a thing. Please.
If you have an episode that you'd like to suggest, you can do it on worrypodcast.com. That's weepodcast.com.
I don't ask much, guys. I don't ask much.
I'll give you one that you can out
Look,
with.
I lost the battle with Hemus. I admit
Freet.
defeat. Give me something. Give me something. I'm 50% of this podcast. Give me something.
No.
Give me one win. Give me a win.
That is it for this episode of Worst Episode Ever. If you have an episode that you would like to suggest, please go to weepodcast.com, weepodcast.com, where you can submit it and also read show notes. You can get to our Reddit, our Facebook, our Twitter, all of that fun stuff. Pretty much everything you ever wanted to do, you can go to weepodcast.com. And while you're there, you can click through our Amazon links, as we said earlier in the show, and help support the show. And
Leave a-
also buy our Sync Points episodes. We
Yes.
got Batman and Superman Returns are both available now. You should check those out.
It sucks that we're asking money when like 99% of our content is free, but it pays for all this shit that the people on Periscope are looking at,
Absolutely.
including the beer.
Yeah.
Also, leave iTunes reviews. We had a couple of
Yes.
good ones recently, and they've slowed down because we've got like over 100 now. They're not growing as fast as the 90th percentile, but they're fun to get.
Right.
Keep giving it let's get to 200.
Yeah, iTunes reviews are really big. That's a big deal for
Let's
our
get to-
ranking
let's
on
get to
iTunes.
200. Yeah,
so if
it
you
does
do
help
like
our
the
ranking,
show
yes.
and you haven't ranked it, you should, or if you haven't rated it on iTunes, you should do that. That helps us out a lot. We would really appreciate that. If you're in the Brooklyn area, you can come to Woo Classic Simpsons Trivia. That is the first Thursday of every month at Berry Park in Brooklyn. Sync Points is out. 90th percentile is out. That's every Monday. You should check that out. We had a good one this past Monday. Jeff, do you have anything you want to plug?
Oh, do you have any Predators games coming up?
If anyone wants to go see
Season
you,
wouldn't
see you
start
play
till,
soccer.
June.
All right.
All right, in June, go see
Go
Jeff.
see Jeff play soccer.
No, football.
Football, you dick.
Come on.
Football?
The Predators are a football team.
They're a soccer team. I know, I'm just fucking with you.
Jeff
now.
plays minor
think you
league
are.
American
I
football.
wasn't at first.
Jeff plays American football for the New York Predators. He's a kicker. He's awesome. Check out those games. They're really
Yeah,
also
check
the,
him out. Freitas is a fan.
the logo is fucking awesome. It's a Predator with football gear on and the Predator weapon.
Nice. That's awesome. I think that's it for all of our post-show stuff.
Check out
us
our horror podcast. It's called Podcast of Terror.
That's what
Yeah,
it's called.
Podcast of Terror.
We're
We were just on as guests. Check
it
that
should
out.
be on by the time this airs.
Should be good. Check it out. My name is Freet, and I'll be a new guest on the show.
What is Freet? What is he?
I don't know.
Describe Freet. Give me 3 characteristics of Freet right now.
Well,
All right, hold on. That's not fair.
That is fair.
I like to collect stamps.
3 characteristics of her. I can't even say his name. Rufik.
Grufik, he's fuzzy. He
never
has
been in
bicycle
love.
safety. He's a conspiracy theorist, and he's into bicycle safety.
I've never been in love, but I'm putting
That's
myself
all
out
one
there.
characteristic.
And I enjoy cryptograms.
No, I'm not.
They're a word puzzle.
Freet cannot be a thing.
I'll
Freak
see you all
cannot-
next week.
Freet cannot be. Look, it broke Periscope. Freet broke Periscope. I think it's frozen.
I'm
It's still
free.
going on your phone.
I'll see you all in episode 75 next week.
See?
Apparently our Periscope has ended, so that's fine. We're going to get the hell out of here. Jeff, how do we always close the show?
I just cut all this.
Watch this, kids. I don't know you, but I want you all the more.
Leave me alone! I have a husband!
And quit sending her pianos!